It's a very warm welcome back to On Cue Billiards in La Mesa for the ongoing Lucasi West Coast Tour. This is stop 2, San Diego. You see the handicap there between amateurs and professionals, and this is Paul Ewing. He's a 545 Fargo, so he's classed as an amateur here. He races to 6. Nice shot there on the 4. Very smoothly put into the corner pocket, and he's got a cut on the 5 here. Too thin there though. Yeah, this table is table 2 and on cue. Tables 1, 2 and 3 are notoriously tighter, used for the big challenge matches and money games here in the club. And Paul's opponent is Jared PITTS, a 631 Fargo. He's classed as a veteran and will be racing to 7 in this contest. Nicely on the green, 6 in the side. He's probably gone a little bit too far. Would like to have had a little angle to get down table for the 7, so interesting to see how he plays this. Well, he's happy to stun it in and take a cut on the 7, and he can just drop this in the bottom right and come round off 2 rails for the 9 in the same pocket. Yeah, both these guys, Jared and Paul, based out of San Diego. And that's too thin. I think maybe he slightly decelerated there, didn't quite let the cue go through, and he has got second prize, however. He's snookered Paul on this 7 ball. I think he's going to try and kick at this. And when kicking, if you want to try and make it, I think you try and kick 2 rails. Yeah, he's actually helpfully indicating where he wants the cue ball to bounce off the short rail. So somewhere just inside that 3rd diamond. Give you a better chance of knocking it in. He actually caught the 7 directly, and that is a sellout, I'm afraid. Jared very gratefully quickly back out of his seat and to the table. He's hit that a little too hard. With these 9 balls, you really want to try and leave yourself something unmissable. They say that that's the only ball you want to finish dead straight on in this game. Oh, and he's not happy with that. He's conceding. So Paul gets the first rack under his belt and will be breaking in rack 2. They use the World Nineball Tour format, the Lucasi West Coast Tour, so that means you break with 9 on the spot. You must break within the break box, which is an imaginary box if you were to see the kitchen line and draw a line from the first diamond where that piece of chalk is on the short rail to the 1 at the head of the pyramid of balls, or the diamond of balls. And then on the right hand side, and then on the left hand side, somewhere near where the 5 ball is, an imaginary line from that diamond over on the left, first diamond, down to the 1. And so you've got to place the 1 ball, the cue ball within that space. And most players place it on the extreme edge of the break box and try and cut the 1, as Paulie goes for a attempted combination. Oh dear, he's unlucky there. The 6 went in, but so did the cue ball. So ball in hand for Jared, and it's 3 fouls cost you the game, as same in WNT rules. So he's going to roll forward here and try and nestle into the 3 with the cue ball. Yeah, getting back to what I was saying there, the standard break is to try and hit the 1, say 3/4 full, with a lot of draw and a bit of side, sometimes left or right English, depending which side of the table you're breaking from. And then the 1 can go directly into the opposite side pocket to the side you broke from. But I did notice that even Oscar Dominguez, arguably the best player here today, he was struggling when playing on this table earlier to get that 1 ball to go in reliably. Whereas on some of the other tables, it's been firing in there. So a bit tougher on this table. Also, it's not something that necessarily all the players here are used to. Here we tend to play 9 ball with the 1 on the spot, and people break from the extreme edge of the kitchen. You can probably see little skid marks on either side at the kitchen line where people normally break from, which is a reliable way to get balls in the corner pocket when the one is racked on the spot. So he's looking here at hitting the short rail, maybe just by that first diamond from the right-hand bottom corner pocket, and then over to the long rail, missing the 8. He's got to get close. That's not the 8, is it? That's the 4. Missing the 4 by as close as possible. Yeah, you see, he was a bit of a distance from the 4, and therefore hit the long rail where his cue is, a bit too close to the centre pocket. So he's on 2 fouls now, and Jared's definitely got to be looking for a third one. And I think this is the easiest way of doing it. You just play the 1 down to hit the short rail and roll forward and nestle up to the 5 with the cue ball. That's probably the easiest way to get a hook, when you can just roll forward. But he's underestimated the strength a little bit, and he could have done with being tight against that 5. Then it would have been a real difficult kick. But this one is a pretty straightforward 1 rail hit, and made easier by the fact that the 1 is close to that short rail, so you could miss it and still get it off the short rail. So didn't expect him to miss that. Nice hit. And looks as though he's got good separation. It's pretty safe, and I can't see even a combination or a carom working here. It's got to be a safety for Jared. Well, he did get the cue ball behind the 8, but it rolled all the way through and came out. So a chance for Paul. Can go for the 1 directly and stun for the 2 ball. And he may also be tempted, and indeed he was, to go for the early 9. The 1 and the 9 were lined up there, and if you can always get that 9 moving towards the pocket, it could always drop in, but he's actually given Jared a nice opportunity here. A bit tricky to get from 2 to 3. Try and go across table and use 1 long run on the right. I think somebody tried, but he collided with the 4, so options are limited now. He could try a bank. He's just pointed down there towards the 9, and is that where he wants the cue ball? That 3 is looking close. Good shot. And then options here. Thin cut to the same pocket. Or you could go for a safety, I suppose. Yeah, that's what he tried, I think. Trying to just bank it up there, but it's got the double kiss. And this will pass the 7 into that top left corner. He's just wandering around, picking up his chalk, checking the situation with the 5. Oh, apologies there. Someone's just bumped the camera tripod. So following forward, maybe trying to get the 5 in the side. By the way he played that, he was trying to get it in the same pocket as the 4, but he's just overrun. So happy to run for cover, and he's got a good cue ball there. I think he's pretty much tight on that short rail. Although I think Jared can hit this direct. He can certainly hit it off the side rail. Yeah, seems to be. Oh, he looks like he's going in off there. Yep. And the 5's dropped as well, so that could be curtains in this rack. Pretty straightforward out now for Paul, just to follow forward off the side rail. Maybe a little bit of right-hand English, just get closer to that 8. Will be leaving himself a little angled just so he can drop it in and come out for the 9 in the opposite side. Corner pocket. These are the 9s that we like. Unmissable 9 balls. But you still must give every shot due care and attention. one thing that we've learned is that anything could be missed on a 9-foot pool table, especially one with 4-inch pockets. So Jared with the break. Let's see how he does here. Unfortunately, he's scratched in that side pocket. There's a thing with a cut break. You're going to get lucky sometimes. You're also going to get unlucky. The cue ball's always moving, colliding with other balls. In an ideal world, you draw off the pack over to the side rail, and then you can see how the 9's pretty much stayed on its spot. Get the cue ball to come back across and hit the 9. And that's how a lot of the pros are making golden breaks. So the 2 is tied up in a bit of a spot here. So he's looking at doing a breakout with a direct cannon from the 1 ball, which he's going to put in that top right corner. Just missed the 4 on the way there. Try and hit the 2 directly. Yeah, he kind of caught more of the 7 than the 2, and he's nudged it into a horrible spot for himself. He's in all sorts of trouble here. Looking at that far corner to try and maybe hit the short rail. Sorry, the short rail first. Lots of left to swing around a tight angle and come back. Hit the 2. And he's missed it. And it's ball in hand for Jared. Not such an easy opportunity to go for 3 fouls here. You could... we're looking at now, thin edge that 2, so the 2 will hit the 6 and stay there. The 6 will move down the rail a bit, and you can get the cue ball from the left-hand long rail to come back over towards this bottom right corner. Maybe get behind the 6 or even the 7 if you're feeling adventurous. Oh, he's not got the legs on that. Need another foot or so, and he would have achieved quite a good snooker. So there's a thin edge on the left available, maybe a cross side bank for Paul. He's having a look at that. I'll definitely go past the 5. It's just about catching it right. Yeah, as I feared, that 2 was frozen, and he got almost a squeezy double kiss effect. But that's not bad. He'll be happy with that. He's full ball snooker behind the 5 ball, so Jared's gone for the short stick. And pretty tough to jump and catch it, thin enough to cut it in, but he may be trying that. Yeah, certainly caught it thin on the right. And how's that? Oh, well, he's knocked the 6 in, the 7 in inadvertently, so that pot uncalled means that Paulie gets an option to put him back in, and he's put Jared back in. Oh dear, look at that. He's having a bit of a nightmare from a scratch perspective, is Jared. You do get days like that. You just got to persevere, know that things will improve, and can turn around on a dime, really. So rolling forward for the 3 up the rail. And stop shot would be fine here. Leave a good angle on the 4 to get back up past the 9 for that 5 in the same pocket. He's playing the 3 now. Ideally wouldn't like to be hard on the rail like he is, but it's just a drop in, pocket weight. Nothing adventurous required. Nice stroke. He's a bit disappointed he's rolled a bit far into the body language, but I think he's fine. He can still cut this in. Maybe do a tiny trace of right-hand spin so that you don't go anywhere near the side pocket he's leaning over. Yeah, and he's made the pot, and he's in good shape here. Got a couple of choices. You can drop it in pocket weight and you'll trundle forward for the 9 in the side, or you can punch it in a bit with a bit of backspin. Maybe a tracer left to get out into the middle of the table for the 9 in the bottom left corner. Perfect, just like that. That's a bit more of the confident aggressive shot. We do like to punch him in a bit, let the stroke out. Whereas when you're babying shots and just dollying them, you can sometimes decel and not get a proper stroke on the ball. So 3-0 to Mr. Ewing. And he's got the break here in rack 4. Alternate breaks in this World Nineball Tour rules competition. Stops any of the top players being able to run 3, 4, 5 and 6 packs on you. Everybody gets a break regularly, so you've got a good chance. So the one's gone safe. But he's trying to bank it down onto the 9. Yeah, it was inviting. Just a few inches from that corner pocket. Well worth having a go at. So I think that's come up all the way and revealed itself to Paul. He can probably go for this in the bottom left corner. It looks fairly straight. Could just stop for the 2 in the... he did have a bit of an angle, but he actually cut it a bit too thin. Nice shape on the 2, but what do you do here? I suppose you can just cut it in past the 9, come 2 rails, back towards the 2. Just technically, you shouldn't just put the ball back when you touch it like that. It's an option to your opponent. Nice shot there. Little kiss on the 6, not entirely helpful. So in cutting this, you've got to just try and float it in and avoid kissing the 3 on the way past. Then I think you put a little left spin so it just flicks around that angle and comes out for the 3. Well, he got the shape side right, but unfortunately not accurate enough on the pot. But the 5 has come to his rescue. And snookered ball. Looks like he's going to be kicking at this. Off the short rail. And try and hit it as full as he can. Well, how's that for luck? There you go. He's got a nice shape here on the 3. Just weighing up what sort of angle he's got. Can he play with top and left to check the cue ball a bit and stay on that left-hand side of the table? Come down behind the 4 in the bottom right corner past the 9. And could have done with a little bit more pace or a little bit more spin just to get past that pocket line. Then the cue ball would naturally be going over towards the 5, and he could easily have finished behind the 5 to do 5-9 combo for the game. So here it's a bit tricky to get on the 5. But where's the 9 going? Holds his hand up. I don't think he played that. But they all count in this game. 4-0 to Paul. Jared needs to pull his finger out sooner rather than later. 2 goes in the corner. How's his luck? He's going to get a shot. Well, it'll pot in the bottom right. And he could draw across, try and miss the 8 ball, hit that long rail on the left, and come back towards the centre of the table for the 3 in the top right. Just a bit thick. And once again, I think obstructing ball may have come to his rescue. Looks to me as though there may be a tiny sliver of that 1 available, but not quite enough to cut it in. And the 8 being so close to the 1, it's hard to swerve, but he is elevating a bit. Maybe a little slow swerve. Yeah, he hit it a bit too hard to get the cue ball bending there, I think. Hence the 1 hit the point. That's the only bit of the 1 he could hit. Just cut it too fine. And maybe he can get past the 9 to cut this in. Well, he surely could. He hit that too thick. Is that 1 going to come and dress up? Yeah, it surely has. Mighty fine though. You've got to try and avoid the obstacles as you come back across here. So not easy. And a little graze on the 7. Not done him a lot of favours. I think the 3's makeable. You've got to try and gauge the stun and left-hand spin so that you can just glide past that 7 and catch enough of the short rail, throw the cue ball around the angle and then come down towards the 4. It's all about getting the correct tangent line off the 3. Well, he played it much more aggressively. A deep draw with check side. Nice pot, but unfortunately caught the 8 on the wrong side. If it had caught the 8 on the opposite side, he'd have drifted further down, but he didn't bother here. He's going for the short stick, I think. So a bit like one that Jared had earlier. Jump in to catch the thin edge and cut the ball along the rail. Quite a demanding shot. Important you find the centre line of the cue ball, because any spin left or right is going to squirt the white offline. He's unlucky there, he actually overcut that. So, opportunity again for Jared. He's got to try and get over to this right hand long rail, where I think he's got a line free to the... Where's the cue ball going? Oh, oh dear, oh dear. Scratches galore. Yeah, it's one of those days for Jared, I'm afraid. So ball in hand here for Paul. And put it in such a position he's got the 5. And then needs to try and get around 2 rails for the green 6 in the same pocket. A little bit of a stretch. Just a fraction under hit. Like this, it would have been a little thicker than it is. Easy enough to cut in. But now you're going to use both long rails with the cue ball to try and get the 7 in the same pocket. Nice shot. And I think he's got enough of an angle just to follow forward with a bit of top and right to get around that angle and back to the centre of the table for the 8. That's a beautiful stroke. Really nicely played. Yeah, that's perfect. So you've got a choice. Just drop it in, dead weight, come off the long rail for the 9 in the side. Looks like that's what he's doing. Yeah, that's cool. You could have also just stunned it with a little bit of left. Come out for the 9 in the bottom left, but this is just as good. So this for 5-0, getting on the hill. And a potential whitewash on the cards. No! Too thin. What happened there? Did he see the winning line? Maybe he was thinking about being 5-0 up. Because that really was a gift. He's handed back to Jared. Jared jumped out of his seat. Couldn't wait to get back to the table. There we go. So instead of 5-0, it's going to be 4-1. And Paulie with a break. Got to try and put that 9 out of his mind and just carry on. He's still in a commanding position in this match. Good crack of the balls. The 9 once again has gone right close to that corner pocket. It's been there more than once in this match so far. Nothing down, however. And a potential combination shot for Jared. 1 onto the 5. Just leave the 1 there. So you can then play off that to get down for the... Well, would he play for the 2-9 combination? It's certainly makeable. Yeah, that's he's having a little look now, I think. You want to try and get right behind the 2 if you can. You can be straight in on it. Makes it a lot easier than if you're having to cut the ball. He's missed the 3. Keep going. Oh, he's gone a bit far. So with this, I think you put the 2 onto the long rail. couple of inches before the 9 and get it to go rail first and knock the 9 in. I think it gives you slightly bigger margin of error. That's what he's looking at. So this one, make it 4-2. Nice shot, Jared. He'll be feeling a little bit better about his prospects now. As he's breaking, rack 7. Yeah, he's not quite got the cut break going. That again was a few inches above the side pocket. It did make a ball, however, but not a lot to go at here. Yeah, just trying to tuck the cue ball in. Very nicely played. Things starting to look a little bit more rosy for Jared. So 2-rail hit here for Paul. Caught it thin. That's going to dress up, I think. Yeah, depending on what sort of angle he's got, he can just roll this in and he'll have a nice shot at the 2 just below the pocket line, so he'll be going naturally up the table towards the 3. He's got the 4 conveniently right next door, and then the 5 and 6 are connected as well, so this is looking like a great opportunity. Maybe gone a little further than he might have liked. Just got to guess the speed accurately here. He's not bad. He's slightly off angle. I mean, a bit more of a cut, or a little bit further down the table, so it would be straight, or a slight cut back. It would have been guaranteed to get good shape on the 4. This is a little bit more tricky. And he's lost the cue ball a bit there. Still makeable. I think you've got to play this with quite a lot of right-hand spin to throw the 4 in. And then you come round off 2 rails nicely towards that 5 ball. That's a beautiful shot. Really nicely played. And that should secure this rack, I would have thought. Even though he's a bit flat on this, you can... What do? You draw back or you just stun it? Yeah, he's happy to just stun it and punch off the rail. I think you play this with a lot of left. That's where he wants the cue ball, right there. So slowly, below centre, maybe almost like a drag shot. Left-hand English. Yeah, it's a bit under hit. That's the thing with those. When you're dragging it and hitting it real slow, you can kind of decelerate a little. Not quite get through the ball. It's still makeable, this. It's just a bit more challenging. And I think you've got to play with a tracer left. So the cue ball will straighten up a bit and hit both long rails. Big shot, this. He's overcut it. Dear, oh dear. So Paul gets away with that one. Jared will be disappointed. And this is a great opportunity now for Paul to get himself on the hill. Just 1 rack away from victory in this match. Taking his time. Just having a quick look where he wants to be. It's a little soft draw shot. Putting back about 10, 12 inches. Oh dear. He doesn't want to make it easy for himself. Just overhit it, just drifted too far. In hindsight, it may have been better off letting the cue go a bit and playing for this right-hand side of the table to get the 9 in the same pocket as the 8. That's where he's going now. He's got a thin cut. Just having one last little look at the pocket line. Try and get any disappointment out of your head. Forget thoughts that it should have been easier than this. Just think, pot the 9, make the 9. And that's a lovely stroke. So it is Paul on the hill. And breaking here in rack 8. I think that's the closest and one has come to going in off the break there. But it's going to finish dry. And there's a potential 1-9 combination if you are feeling adventurous. Ultimately, I think the 1 does actually go between the 5 and the 9, but it's not a favourable angle to get back up the table for the 2 ball. And that's what he tried. It's gone wrong and he's left ball an opportunity. Slightly off angle here, so cue ball's going away from the 2. And if he wants to try and go all the way back up the table, he's got to avoid traffic there in the shape of the 5 and the 6 and the 9, so just going below centre. And he's going to just squeeze past the 3. Need a little bit more juice on that. And he may have been able to find that gap between the 3 and get up table, but I think this might cut, you know, past the 6. Oh, he's gone full in the face and a bank it. I think this is potable. It's a nice stroke. It's close to the rail. Perfect. Nicely done. And he's got good shape on the 3 here. That'll pass the 6 into the top right. He's got a bit of an angle. He's going to play out for the 4 in the right side pocket. Nicely done. And got the right side of the 4 as well. So a little soft draw shot. I think he, depending on how much cut he's got on this, he might be able to hold the cue ball there, just kill it and hold it there. Yeah, it's just drifted on a little. He didn't quite get the backspin. It was more of a drag and the cue ball just rolled forward after contact, but it's still makeable. And the cue ball will be going up table towards the 6, so I think you have a tracer right on this. Just to take the side pocket out of the equation. Actually, I don't think he did. I think he maybe had just a plain ball there. Nice shot. And a nice stroke required here, a bit of top and left. Just looking at that line, to try and get below the 9. But he's coming round. Oh no, not the dreaded scratch. It really is. Not been Jared's day today, I'm afraid. So just 3 balls required now for Paul to seal victory here. Ideally wants to get just past the pocket line. Slightly short, so you can probably just roll this in and take your medicine and settle for being slightly further away than you would have wanted. Just trying to get around the table from here is really not that easy, and you're not necessarily going to get any better than you are right now. Yeah, I think that's the way to play it. Ideally, you didn't want to be under the rail, though. Just give you a bit more option, but you're just going to have to float this in, get a nice stroke. So this 9-ball is for a 6-2 win for Paul Ewing against Jared PITTS here in the Lucasi West Coast Tour. Stop 2, San Diego, played at On Cue Billiards in La Mesa. And there it is, folks. Thanks very much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already and check out the channel for more from this tournament.